Have you ever felt like time is slipping through your fingers? Like there's never enough hours in the day to get everything done? You're not alone. Most of us live on a treadmill of endless tasks, feeling overwhelmed by the ticking clock. But what if I told you there's a way to finally take control? To not just manage your time, but to master it. In this video, we're diving into the key insights from Master Your Time, a book that promises to transform how you approach every minute of your day. No, this isn't about squeezing in more tasks or becoming some productivity machine. It's about understanding what truly matters, eliminating what doesn't, and creating a life that's both meaningful and balanced. So if you're ready to stop feeling like a slave to your calendar and start using time as your greatest tool, stick around, because mastering your time means mastering your life. And the first step is simpler than you think. The central idea in Master Your Time is this: time is a non-renewable resource. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, yet some people seem to accomplish more, feel less stressed, and even have time to pursue their passions. The book argues that the difference lies in how we prioritize and align our time with our true values. But here's the trap most of us fall into. We think productivity is about doing more tasks, more meetings, more activities. We fill up every minute with something and then wonder why we're so exhausted. The book flips this idea on its head. Instead of doing more, it challenges us to do what matters. One of the first exercises the author suggests is deceptively simple. He asks you to list out everything you spend your time on for an entire week. Every task, every meeting, every minute scrolling social media. Because the truth is, most of us have no idea where our time actually goes. It's like money. If you don't track it, you'll spend it on things you barely remember. Once you have this list, the book asks you to separate your tasks into 3 categories. 1. What's essential? 2. What's important? 3. What's just noise? The essential tasks are the ones that align with your core values, the things that give you energy and move your life forward. The important tasks are necessary, but they don't feed your soul. And the noise, that's the stuff that clutters your day, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck in a loop of busyness. Here's the scary part. For most of us, noise takes up a huge chunk of our time. Meetings that don't matter, emails that could have been ignored, mindless scrolling that leaves us feeling empty. The book calls this out as time vampires. They suck away the hours and leave us wondering where the day went. To master your time, the author says you need to ruthlessly eliminate the noise. It's not about feeling guilty for not doing everything. It's about choosing what actually matters. This means learning to say no, setting boundaries, and letting go of the idea that you need to please everyone. But let's be honest, saying no is hard. We're taught to be polite, helpful, and always available. The book recognizes this and offers practical scripts you can use to say no with grace. For example, instead of saying "I'm too busy," you might say, "I'm focusing on other priorities right now." This small shift in language shows respect for yourself and the person you're speaking to. Another key idea in the book is the power of intentional planning. Most of us plan reactively, responding to the loudest demands of the day. But the author suggests flipping this around. At the start of each day or week, take a few minutes to decide what your top priorities are. Ask yourself, what 3 things, if I did them today, would make me feel accomplished? What tasks are just distractions masquerading as work? How can I create space for what matters most? This simple act of planning, even if it's just for 10 minutes, creates a roadmap for your day. You're no longer a passenger, you're the driver. The book also delves into the idea of energy management. Because let's face it, even if you have the perfect plan, you won't execute it if you're exhausted. The author encourages you to notice your energy rhythms throughout the day. Are you most creative in the morning? Do you hit a slump in the afternoon? Instead of fighting these rhythms, work with them. Schedule your most demanding tasks for when your energy is highest. Save the routine stuff for when you're feeling drained. This way, you're not just managing your time, you're managing your energy, which is just as important. And here's an idea that really stood out to me: the concept of the not-to-do list. We've all heard of to-do lists, but this book suggests creating a list of things you won't do, things that drain your energy, waste your time, or distract you from your goals. By writing these down, you're making a conscious commitment to avoid them. For example, your not-to-do list might include things like checking email first thing in the morning, saying yes to every meeting, invite, working without breaks, multitasking during deep work. This might sound radical, but it's incredibly freeing. Because every time you say no to the noise, you're saying yes to what really matters. As we move through this video, I want you to think about your own relationship with time. What are the time vampires in your day? What tasks actually give you energy, and which ones drain it away? In the next chapter of this summary, we'll dive deeper into how to structure your day for maximum impact, the importance of creating boundaries, and why it's crucial to align your time with your long-term vision. But for now, remember this: mastering your time isn't about becoming a productivity robot. It's about making deliberate choices, staying connected to your values, and creating a life that feels rich and meaningful. Because time is the one thing you can never get back. So let's make it count. In Chapter 1, we talked about the importance of identifying your essential tasks and cutting out the noise. But now, in Chapter 2, let's go deeper. Let's talk about how to structure your day to make sure your time aligns with what matters most. The book introduces a powerful framework called the Daily Blueprint. The idea is to treat your day like an architect would treat a building project. You don't just start hammering away without a plan. You create a blueprint. And that blueprint starts with 3 simple questions. 1. What do I need to accomplish today to move my life forward? 2. How will I protect time for deep, focused work? 3. What's one thing I can do to make today more meaningful? By answering these questions every morning, you're not just reacting to the day, you're designing it. But of course, even the best plans can fall apart if you're constantly interrupted. That's why the book puts a big emphasis on creating boundaries. Because let's be real, if you're always accessible, you're never truly focused. The author suggests setting focus blocks during your day. These are periods of uninterrupted time, usually 60 to 90 minutes, where you work on your most important tasks. During these blocks, you turn off notifications, silence your phone, and let everyone around you know that you're not available. This might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to being constantly responsive. But here's the truth: every interruption costs you more time than you think. Research shows it can take up to 23 minutes to regain focus after a distraction. That's almost half an hour lost for every interruption. So don't feel guilty about protecting your focus. It's not about being rude, it's about respecting your own time. Another key idea in the book is the 2-minute rule. This rule is simple but effective. If a task takes less than 2 minutes to do it immediately. Don't write it down, don't add it to your to-do list. Just do it. This might seem trivial, but those tiny tasks can pile up and create a mental burden. By dealing with them right away, you free up your mind to focus on what truly matters. Now let's talk about something a lot of us struggle with: perfectionism. The book makes it clear that perfectionism is one of the biggest time wasters out there. When you're always trying to make things perfect, you spend hours tweaking, revising, and second-guessing yourself. The author challenges you to embrace the idea of good enough. Instead of aiming for perfection, aim for progress. Because the truth is, most of the time, perfect doesn't exist. And trying to chase it only eats away at your time and your energy. Here's a practical tip the book suggests. Set a time limit for your tasks. For example, if you're writing an email, give yourself 10 minutes to get it done. If you're working on a project, decide in advance how much time you'll spend on it. This simple trick keeps you from getting lost in endless revisions and forces you to focus on what's truly important. The book also talks about the power of reflection. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done better? How can I use these lessons tomorrow? This daily reflection isn't about beating yourself up. It's about learning and growing. It's about making small adjustments that add up over time. Because mastering your time isn't a one-time fix. It's an ongoing practice. One of the most powerful sections of the book is about aligning your time with your long-term vision. Most of us live in reactive mode. We're so busy with the urgent stuff that we forget the important stuff. But if you don't take the time to step back and look at the big picture, you'll end up climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. The author suggests creating a vision statement for your life. This isn't some corporate mission statement. It's a personal declaration of what truly matters to you. It might be about your family, your career, your health, or your creative passions. Whatever it is, write it down. Then, whenever you're making decisions about how to spend your time, ask yourself, does this align with my vision? If it doesn't, it's probably a distraction. This might sound heavy, but it's actually liberating. Because when you know what you're working towards, it becomes so much easier to say no to the things that don't matter. And here's a final idea from the book that really resonated with me. Time is your life in motion. Every minute you spend is a minute of your life you'll never get back. So treat your time with the same respect you'd give to your most valuable possessions. In the finale chapter of this summary, we'll explore some of the book's advanced strategies. how to handle procrastination, how to create momentum even on tough days, and why small, consistent actions are the key to long-term success. But for now, remember, you're not just managing your schedule, you're shaping your life. So make sure it's a life you're proud of. In Chapter 2, we talked about how to structure your day, protect your focus, and align your time with what matters most. But even with the best plans and intentions, there's one challenge that almost everyone faces: procrastination. The book doesn't shy away from this topic. It says procrastination isn't about laziness, it's about avoidance. We avoid tasks because they feel overwhelming, because we're afraid of failing, or because they're not clearly defined. So how do you beat procrastination? The author suggests breaking big tasks into small, manageable chunks. Instead of telling yourself, I need to write this whole report, start with, I'm going to write the first paragraph, or even, I'm just going to open the document. These tiny steps lower the resistance and help you build momentum, because once you start, it's easier to keep going. The book also introduces the idea of action begets motivation. A lot of us wait until we feel motivated to act, but motivation doesn't always come first. In fact, it's often the opposite. When you start taking action, even in a small way, you create momentum, and that momentum creates motivation. Another key insight is the power of small, consistent actions. We often think big changes require big actions, but the book argues that small habits, repeated over time, have the greatest impact. For example, if you want to read more, commit to reading just 10 minutes a day. If you want to get healthier, start with a short walk each morning. These small actions might not feel like much, but they add up. They build confidence, create progress, and shift your identity over time. This idea ties into the book's final lesson. You become what you repeatedly do. Your habits, your routines, and the way you spend your time shape who you are. If you want to change your life, start by changing how you spend your minutes. One powerful exercise the book suggests is to review your week every Sunday evening. Look back at what went well, what didn't, and what you want to focus on in the week ahead. This weekly reflection helps you stay on track and prevents you from drifting away from your true priorities. And here's the last insight I want to share. The book says that mastering your time is ultimately about mastering your choices. Every day, you make choices about where to invest your energy, attention, and effort, and those choices shape your future. So as you finish this video, I want you to take a moment to think about the small, deliberate choices you can make today. Because when you master your time, you're not just getting more done, you're creating a life that's truly your own. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and join us on this journey of growth and mastery. We're here to help you take control of your time, align it with your deepest values, and create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. So hit that subscribe button and let's make every minute count.